Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, viewers. We are live here tonight with one of the survivors from the tragic events that would have unfolded over the last couple of days. And so he's here to give us an update. Well, not an update, but his perspective on what has happened, how, what possibly caused this tragedy, what he experienced, what his thoughts and feelings were, some of the things that he would have seen and heard during that period. So without further ado, let me invite this gentleman here tonight with us. His name is Nicholas.
Nicholas, that's
Nicholas.
correct.
Pardon?
Correct is right.
Correct.
Nicholas.
So, Nicholas, first of all, praises and thanks to the Almighty that you're here with us this evening to share this story. I'm almost certain that this is the most tragic event that your life would have faced today.
Yeah.
If you could give us some idea in terms of what it was like before the boat left the dock, in terms of the people that were coming on. Was it crammed? Was it not? What was that like for you?
Yeah, the boat was well, when I got there, I really didn't notice the boat. I was noticing the people. There was a lot of people getting on this boat. You understand me? And I'm trying to figure out mine. I had a cast on my hand, so you're worrying about where you're going to sling up your hammock.
Oh, so you had the cast before this happened? Okay.
Yeah. So you're worrying about how to find a place to sling up your hammock that's convenient to you being in a unit situation. But that's what I noticed at first. All them kids, and it's like so much families going on their vacation or wherever they going.
Yeah. So
that's what I noticed.
A good question before we you continue. So this is the first time for you traveling on this boat?
No, I was traveling on that boat since 2010.
Wow. So even with traveling all that time, this time stood out for you in terms of the number of persons that boarded the boat.
Yeah, and the way it was cramped was upstairs where we normally sling our hammock up and stuff. They had it ramjacked with potatoes and onions and garlic and.
Because I found a lot of that floating in the ocean.
Oh,
a lot of that. And that's when the captain himself seen how much people it was, and he came and told the workers, move take it downstairs, take it somewhere else. Move.
Take what downstairs? The potatoes or the people?
The potatoes, okay. The onions, everything that was cramped up with passengers normally sit, it was taken over with potatoes, onions, garlic. So they had to
Excuse what the captain said?
The captain came and told them to move it.
Yeah, take it downstairs. But it still was on the vessel.
But see, they take all this stuff to one area, pack everything at one area.
So you heard the captain said to move it.
I heard the captain said to move it. And they had another little room that they normally be in. That's where you go.
The crew?
Yeah, the crew. When you got your tickets or they want to see your tickets, you go in that room, show them your tickets and stuff like that. And that room had a lot of stuff too. The captain also made them take that stuff out the room and put it somewhere else. So what I noticed is now while I'm on the boat, they was just moving things around, as well as loading things at the set time. This is the first time since 2010 I even told me, partner, I said, partner, this thing is getting too full. Look at this. Wow. And then the water was out. While this boat was loading, you seen little sprinkles of water already coming in. And
that's in Port Georgetown?
In Georgetown. And that's when you hear, that's when you hear them the workmans complaining, I don't want to buy. And they complaining because the dude said they don't have the pump working. The pump wasn't working to pump out that water.
It was a bilge
out
pump.
Out the engine room. So they was arguing, they was complaining about that.
You heard them talking?
Yeah, because we was all right there. Because when we first got on the boat, while everybody set themselves up, because there was so many kids and families. Let them get upstairs. We're going to be down here.
Here since 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay. And what time the vessel in Barima left Georgetown?
The vessel was supposed to leave at 1 o'clock. But the vessel ain't leave until 3:30, 4 o'clock. Because that's what the crews also are complaining about. Why we leave it so late? What time we going to get there?
But you know what caused the delay though?
One engine.
One engine.
I think it was one engine. They were trying to do something, but to me, they were just they were just loading. They was loading. They would not stop loading this boat up.
So other than the potato and garlic and these things, what else you saw them loading?
Like what I noticed too
Mm-hmm.
was you see these pickups they be putting on this boat. They normally put it in empty. This damn pickup had so much stuff in the back. You was like, what? I ain't never seen that before. So now it's like they taking people goods and packing it on this truck just to make
So that's
sure.
additional weight.
You saw any tiles?
No, I didn't remember seeing that. I seen a couple engines. I seen a couple bikes, some cars, but it's like the fine goods they was loading. I never seen so much potatoes, so much onions.
When
and
they're
so
loading
much.
these things, they have a scale or they're just putting it on?
No, they just loading. There ain't no scale. If somebody come and say somebody come late, because I seen this also, because we was all getting pissed
So
off.
16 years you traveling with MV Barima, and you never like saw them weighing with scales and these things.
Never seen that.
Never.
So this is a guesstimation.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's a guesstimate.
No
They just
system
look
in
and
place.
say, oh,
Yeah.
these potatoes, this is probably a 20 pound. For this is probably a 15 pound.
And then along the corridor downstairs,
Mm-hmm.
where you normally have walking space, you don't have that walking space. Everything is
occupying that
cramped
space,
up.
hold up.
Everything, goods, load, fridge, everything is just clamped up, and it was coming out more than it normally, stick out.
You know, when you mention this, how everything crammed and the space, this really get me upset. How these people, this wicked administration, have no regards for the indigenous people and have no regards for poor people in this country. You understand? Got them cram up in there like sardine.
Yeah, and how they know the boat wasn't overload? And they said the boat didn't overload. And look, we have the survivor giving us a recount of what happened. From his very own mouth, he's saying that the boat was overload and all these things packed and rammed and they're like sardines.
Truth be told, it's a matter of saving face at this time.
And then when you
guys.
even go upstairs, that was another story.
Do tell.
Because you literally got to walk over people. And mind you, my foot wasn't no good, so I really got to hold on. And I never seen that. I never seen that cramp before. It's like a scary movie. I never seen so much children on that damn steamer before.
A lot of children we picked up.
A lot of children.
They're going on vacation.
So
Could
it's
be,
like,
but remember, a lot of children may be coming to Georgetown for school as well. And now the school is closed, they probably wait for the little graduation and so on. They're now going back, and those sorts of things. So that, I guess, would account for the large number of children being present on the vessel. So the boat left the dock. So we're there now with an overloaded boat, passenger and, as we would say, goods alike.
And water coming in.
and water,
already
and water
seeping in from
already
the beginning.
seeping in and out. Cause what happened is, where I was sitting, remember I have the cast, so I can't let the cast get wet. So you see this water building up all the time, So I decided to go upstairs for a little while. This was
You saw the water building up where?
In the boat.
in the boat on the downstairs level.
Yeah.
That means on the bottom floor, cause it's the canteen and the where you buy your drinks from right there.
Mm-hmm.
This water coming all the way this far.
That's
So I
crazy.
said, but I ain't going back upstairs. I don't want to wet my cast. Went back upstairs. But like 7 o'clock now, I come back downstairs because it's
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Because there's so much kids making noise. It's like, what? You can't even sleep. Let them have their fun. And I went back downstairs. We stayed downstairs till, I could say 10 o'clock. You understand me? Then I told my partner, hey, let me go upstairs. Look how that water is. Water was coming in so much, I ain't even want to be downstairs no more. Because every time this boat splash, you literally see this water splashing in. And not no regular splashing. It's like this rim of this water and
Right
the
to the
rim
edge
of
of
the
the boat.
eye.
Because it's so heavy, it's
And
so
now,
laden,
and now it's
pushes the
so
boat down.
scary because you like, what? If this thing dip a little, and I'm going upstairs. So as I said, I goes upstairs, my soldier went upstairs. The way we hammock was, I was like here and he was by the post. I dozed off in the hammock now. And I wake up to scream, and I'm thinking I'm having a relapse of the kids screaming, so make me go downstairs. But no, when I open my eyes, this boat already canting. When I jumped and looked down to where them girls was at, because I didn't want to step on nobody, these girls are sliding, not no slow slide, sliding quick. And it's like my eyes is watching them. And I watched them. That's when I seen them fall in that water. But you see this water bubbling up and coming to me faster.
Were they alone, the girls then?
They was with the babies.
They had babies.
They was trying to scramble for the babies, but by canting, they don't even have time to catch themselves.
Everyone on this side. On this side.
And the people, like this, it's a little girl with a lot of hair, short little haircut. This little girl, they said she saved the dude. That girl was sleeping under me. They had another dark-skinned young girl. She was sleeping. All these people who was right in this vicinity.
Remember, he got the hammock, right? So they on the...
They for some reason live, but these girls in front of them, they gone. Wash away. Wash away.
Them and the baby.
And around what time you average the boat can't? The ferry?
It had to be between 10:30 and 11. It had to be between them.
It's the same time I'm hearing too.
It had to be because after a little while, I know I was like, yo, what time you got, cowboy? He was like, I clearly remember him saying 9:48 or something. I was like, yo, let we go upstairs. He was like, give me a minute, and he grabbed his food, and we went upstairs together.
In your hammock?
In your hammock. He go in his hammock, I go in my hammock. When you wake, you getting all the scream. I jumps up, and I'm trying to evaluate what's going on. And I'm seeing this boat canting, not slow. This, I tell everybody.
Real fast.
This boat went down like a hot brick. A hot piece of steel. So, when this boat canting, I was on this side of the wall. All right. Well, if you know they got 4 sides, well, 3 sides to a dimensional wall. This and this wall became somewhere I could have stand on now because the boat canting. So now I'm standing up on the wall trying to fight myself to climb out. And as I'm getting a partial way through, it's like all this water now push me out this boat. So now the only thing I could do is tread water and look. So as I'm treading the water and look, you just see everything bubbling up. Anything that could float was coming up. Anything that was floating coming up.
So you held on to anything, or you were just swimming?
I was just swimming.
But what was the songs like in
Yes.
the water? Like, were people saying anything? Was anybody?
People was screaming. People was shouting. Me, I was shouting for my partner because before I left that boat, I said, "Cowboy, this way." And all you seen was a little hole, and it was the sky. That's what I see. I swear to y'all. Now, it's like me mind telling me, get to this hole. Get to this hole. So when I told Cowboy, come this way, and I turned around, as soon as I said, Cowboy, come this way, all you hear was a deafening, you know how steel bend? Like a big ear. As soon as you hear that, the lights went click. You hear the engine stop, everything stop, and all you hearing is one set of screaming.
Titanic movie right away?
Nah, I ain't remember nothing. I was just trying to remember how to stay afloat. I just wanted to get to the top because my mother came down here and buried my brother in 2012, and I promised her she would not do that to me. You understand me? So my whole thing is I wasn't thinking about her. I wasn't thinking about mama, baby, nothing. I was just thinking about find something to stay afloat. Because I already know I got a cast on my foot in my hand. So it's like that survival instinct kicked in. So as soon as I start treading, that's when you see one set of stuff bubbling up. At that time, the boat went down. Right? And when I grabbed the, it was a 5-gallon bottle, an empty bottle. I grabbed her. This boat come back up. And when this boat was going back down, it's like it's dragging me back down. The waves going up and coming down. So now when it come back down, it's just like grabbing me. And I realized, no, I can't stay afloat in this. But as I turned around, when you go up, you'll see stuff. When you come down, it's like you see in 360 water. When you go up, you'll see the lights and stuff. So now it's like when I go up, I'm looking for things. When I come down, I know I can't find nothing. When the wave bring me up again, that's when a big cooler comes up in front of me. Like came up from the boat. Like whatever it was, it just come up. That's what I was trying to say, tell my homeboy too, cause at first I was showing him. We even went to the front of this boat. I was like, yo, come look at this shit. Be on you, citation. Look at this. Cause every time this boat go up, when it come back down, you literally see stuff shifting. So I was saying every time this boat go up and come down, you'll see stuff shifting. I was like, look. You'll see the potatoes and stuff shifting. And every time it goes up, it'll shift more. And the way they packed this potatoes and stuff, it was like a wall.
Like a wall?
Yeah, so think about if you take a piece of here, a piece of there, this whole wall gonna drop. And I was telling me, soldier, I said, duh, look, being you citation. If you don't know how, and I'm playing. I said, bye, if you don't know how to play, if you don't know how to swim, grab a life jacket. I'm telling you. And we went our hammer.
Oh, so you mentioned this before?
Yes, for my guy on the boat. My spider senses thing. My spider senses telling me, bye, you really need to go on this boat? Because like I said, me personally, I sell detector parts. And I know I was stocking up on my detector parts, stocking up, because people be
so
wanting.
You lost a lot of stuff, cargo.
I lost all my stuff. That's why I told you I got two different slippers. I lost my suitcase, lost my bag, everything of clothes I lost.
And all the stuff that you were going to sell in region
Oh,
one.
everything. The money I had, everything gone.
So like how much money?
Well, I got a little shop. I had 2 months rent to pay. I was supposed to be up there earlier, but by me having an accident, I stayed. So I had 2 months rent. Remember when you get off these boats, you need hotel for the night, you need money to move. I walked with like 450. I lost everything. The chain I had on my neck, I lost up by probably swimming out or whatever. I don't know that could go its way, but I wanted my freedom, So it's like once these things happen, and you don't care about them stuff. You want about your well-being. But like I said, now after you have nothing, no phone, no nothing. When they told us we going back to Georgetown, when they came back and got me from the hospital and said, no, plans change. What we're going to do is, where you got to go? You going to keep on going to Kaitumo? I'm like, go to Kaitumo with what, big man?
Or before we get to there, so tell us when the ferry went down, the 87-year-old ferry too. 87-year-old ferry that should have been condemned, should have been in a junkyard, not today, years ago, decades ago. Tell us when the ferry went down, what happened between that time, 10:30, to when you were rescued.
As soon as it went down, like I said, and I got the survivor and got to that cooler, I was stuck in that cooler till 5 o'clock.
Oh, you went in the cooler?
No, I was just on it. Like they have a little boy.
Like a life jacket for you.
Yeah, I stick the broken hand too, because I had the cast and I locked on it and just stayed on it.
And it's how big cooler?
It's decent size cooler. You know the coolers that they be putting the chicken and the beef in? One of those. So I don't know the real size. I can't know the size.
I really assisted you there.
Yeah, because it came sometimes I was throwing myself on top of the cooler and I was able to, until the wave bounced it over and,
You said the water was cold, eh?
It was cold and rough because at least where I was at was going, I was just holding on for dear life. You could just put it like that.
But even in that period, you were seeing other people or hearing other people.
You was hearing...
Not at the beginning. Not in the first, kind of an estimated time for you. Because
exactly.
And so in the earlier stages, you were seeing people.
In the earlier stage, you was seeing people and you was hearing people. Help, holla, you all right? You good? Y'all make sure y'all hold on to something. You hear people trying to be united. You understand me? Make sure y'all hold on to something that's floating. Make sure y'all hold on. And as you hearing these people drift, you just hearing these people drift apart. They just drifting apart. So like I said, it came to a point, I don't know how long I was out there. I know I'd drop asleep. I don't know how long I'd sleep for, but it's like I know I sleep.
So what time you averaged your rescue?
I could say 4:30, 5 o'clock, because it started getting bright. And the thing about it is, when this boat first went down, it's like this captain shot a flare up in the air. And then they shot another flare up in the air, and the airplane come around. Because you could see when they shot this, you hearing...
I heard the airplane based on flight tracker, and so came there around 2:33 in the morning.
Yeah, but like that's what I was saying. Once we got in that water, all sense of timing gone. You understand me? But I know they shot a flare up in the air. And from where I was drifting, this flare was fire. Right, DSL, and I'm here. And you see the flare going up. And then not too long after that, you hear a plane. But we ain't know if a plane was coming for real, or if the plane turned around. You don't know. But I know it was those times when you heard the plane, that's when you heard the flare. That's when you seen the flare, the red flare.
Because in your state, it's understandable that you would lose all sense of time and everything because you just did
Yeah. 1 minute feels like a year.
Yeah.
At 3:22 a.m. Then it's been deactivated.
The flare.
They'll
Oh.
send out a helicopter and the plane.
Sad.
So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 5 hours off. That is our search and rescue unit in Guyana.
Well, the truth is, it is evident, starting with, I mean, as recent as the Madia fires, and now this tragedy, that we don't have a system that kicks in automatically in tragic situations. I understand that tragedies are things you cannot foresee, but when you have people traveling on water, there's certain things that you can preempt whether or not it will happen. There are certain things that, if you don't ride a bicycle, you can't fall down. And so there are those things that you can automatically say could happen. And should these things happen, these are the systems that we have in place to ensure the safety and security of people's lives. But it sounds to me as though there was no care or concern for human life even before the boat left the dock. Just purely by what has happened. Listening to this gentleman here talk about the boat crew complaining about the boat having mechanical issues, complaining about the stacking of the boat. That in itself says that the problem started even before the boat left the dock, and that is extremely unfortunate. But in the time the flare went off, that I guess for you was a sign of hope. What was your thought process in that seeing the flare, hearing the helicopter? What was going through your mind at that time?
My mind was like, help on its way. That's the only thing I could think about, help on its way, but help never came.
What?
Help never
Help
came.
came at 5 a.m.
Help came when the light was coming on.
Help came at
When it was
5
getting bright.
a.m.
So you stayed all night on the cool out.
7 hours they had them, our brothers and sisters, babies,
Yeah.
pregnant
Oh my
women,
God, there could have been
right?
people who could have been
pensioners,
saved.
everyone
Yeah.
had to spend 7 hours. I talked to so many survivors, and they told me all the stories matching up. 10:30 the vessel went down, it was overloaded. They were rescued at 5 a.m.
And then where they put that damn casket. I
There was
told
a
my
casket on board?
yeah, and I told my partner, this is a jumbie thing, man. Why they gotta put it? And anytime you look to the front, you see this casket,
A body was
And I
going
said-
back
a
home.
body,
Yeah,
a
they had a
woman.
body was going back home.
And from then I was like, I don't like this. Is bad. That's a bad omen. I tell me partner, that's a bad omen. Probably, and probably, like I told me friends, I told all my friends, I seen the thing coming, yo. People think I'm lying. I seen the thing happening.
You had that feeling.
Cause yeah, the way they had this place crammed, Jack lock off. And then when you trying to walk people, you sucking your teeth and you trying to understand, man, why you gonna lay there? But you know, you gonna realize this place is too packed. You gotta step here, wait till the boat rock, then take another step through people, over people. I said, nah, this ain't right. And me soldier was with me all that whole day, and I was just busting my mouth. Yo, this look wrong, partner. Something wrong with this. Nah. Spider sense is tingling. And it's like I kept on drilling that in his head, because I never seen a boat where you go ride along in the water and the damn water is just right an inch under it, and a big boat like this. Nah. That's what had me worried. That's probably why I live, because I seen this thing coming here.
So if we could backpedal a little bit, so when you guys were playing domino and so on, did what was happening on the boat come up at the domino table? I know you.
It didn't come up all the way to the domino table.
No.
Water,
I mean the discussion of the water coming in,
that water
overload. Did you guys talk about that? Or?
Yeah, we was talking about that, but like I said, we was trying not to talk about it. Because they're trying not to, trying to put yourself and your thoughts in these places. But me, I kept on picking, because this was a different ride. I rode that steamer all the time. This was a different ride. And when you walk certain places and you look at the level of this water and this boat, that's what had me scared. Now I was like, I should have never came in this shit,
So what do you think about the experience of the captain? How much years, the captain traveled with him?
Well, I took a break off because I had a brother that got killed in the interior, right? So I take a little while off. But as I started recently going back, you don't see that captain. I don't really see that captain like that. Captain will come downstairs, yes, if it's about the board, like board, or if he coming out for a drink or the food or whatever, that's the only time you see the captain. Like captain don't come down and hang out at all. You understand me? They just stay upstairs with their little crew or whatever the case may be. The only time you'll see this man coming downstairs if you got a, I guess they must bathe, and you see him walking out with he bowl of food. You don't see the captain like that. You see all them the dudes that sell the beer, that sell the bottle, and his brother that's do the cook and his brother. Yeah. You see them down there. You see everybody else down there. Like I said, all the other workers will come down there. That's where they buy their drinks and gaff and knock their dominoes and stuff like that. But all through this trip, them workmans was complaining. They wasn't nice. They was not liking that trip. They was not liking that trip.
Complaining among themselves about the water coming in, they load, that sort of thing, or?
And this not working and that not working. And they had they had one of the workers trying to fix the water pump on the way in. How you gonna fix it going up there? So he'll come back looking greasy and dirty. Hey, boy, give me a bounce beer there, boy. I need a bounce, boy. They got me doing a bundless. We could have fixed this in tongue and wool. You hearing the complaints. That's why my spill is like, that's why me, I was always on point, because I'm like, even a walkman know this thing got a problem. And I'm telling me, partner, hey, be on your citation. He's like, why? I said, they got some dead person leading this. You understand? I'm just gaffing. They got some dead person leading this.
Not thinking about the numbers that we're hearing. How many people you think was on this boat?
I could say 200 plus. With kids and all.
200 plus.
I could say 200 plus. Somebody else could probably say different, but like I said, I'm the type of dude, I grow up with calculations and all these things. You understand me? That was more than 200 of us in that boat.
It's possible because
it was more than that.
72
people,
72 bodies retrieved so far, 70 as of last night, and we found 2 today. We found the father and his son. Father and his son today. Just 2 nights ago, I was sitting at, what's the name of the restaurant in Charity? Sunflower. I was sitting at Sunflower, we just came back from the ocean around 10 p.m. So while I was sitting there, 3 persons approached me. said, man, I want to talk to you. We're going to wait till you finish it. I said, no, man, you come sit down, we'll eat something together. So they came, they sat, and they told me that they can't find their father and two brothers. And they really want me to ensure I look out for them. They send me the pictures with the father and the brothers. And luckily today, God sent me straight in the direction of the father. The father was on the beach at Iron Punt, on the beach. So I saw the current crow, the birds, right? Going down low to start to pick on them. So I told the boys, let's head in there. And then the son was within the vicinity too.
It could have been that they were alive and holding on to
something.
To something that
The same
just
thing
couldn't get
probably.
rescued.
So we 72 bodies retrieved. They said 77 survivors. Because we can't even take their word for nothing. You know, we can't accept what they're saying. One time was 67, then it jumped to 77. If they can't manage, or if they can't know how much persons on this vessel, how they can run this country? If you can't manage 200 persons on a vessel, in the first place, that vessel shouldn't have been even in the river, the Demerara River, the smoothest river in this country, shouldn't have been even on the Demerara River, much less in the ocean. In March, they had a tender to do works for 125 million Guyana dollars. Now, I want the people, they must understand, right? For $125 million. And two ministers fighting to see who must get the contract. Two of them. We know which two already. Right within the public works. One want his friend get a contract, the other one want his friend get a contract. While they're playing with the lives of the people. People from right within send me the documents with the tender and explain to me what is happening. So that is why no repair or no maintenance was done as yet on the vessel.
Right. Because now it's no longer about lives, it's about who could benefit and who could get
That's
money.
right. But even with a contract awarded, this vessel should have been condemned not today, long now. And Ejil is responsible for this.
So is Indar.
Ejil and Indar, Ali, Jagdio, all of them responsible for this.
You know, now that you said that, I listened to the interview, right? Not the interview, the press conference that the Prime Minister had. And he was so bold in saying that he has no say over whether Ejil stays or goes. That's in the president's hand. And, you know, the president is down on the ground there, trying to appear as though he cares at this point. When you would have known of this vessel being out there all along, you didn't care. You weren't going to that region then. You weren't sad or depressed or anything of that sort. You were having a grand time on the new vessel, celebrating and having parties and so on, while the lives of poor people, because the president or any of his ministers would not have gotten on that vessel. They would have they would have gotten a flight, and they would have gone there in a matter of what, an hour and somebody, 50 minutes roughly. And so, you know, there is no concern. And my thing is, I am of the firm belief that these government officials should be made to travel on these things. You understand me? If you think that the healthcare system is good, go at the public hospital and use that system. You must see and understand what ordinary people go through. If the minister was on that boat and he realized what is happening, an intervention would have been had. But this is not what these people go through. It is ordinary people. It is the poorer class of society who has to get on that boat. A man got to hustle. You understand me? He doing a little business up there. This man now would have lost everything. Where do you go? How do you start back? And that's why, again, I would also like to point out to Minister Vindia, who, I mean, after our press conference, I noticed she came out because I did reference the fact that there is no psychosocial support. Bindia come out and said we're going to have some extended thing, but I don't want to hear any minister come out and say we can have this and we can have that. Show us that we have it. Let us see where these things are being implemented.
You mentioned today that you got reports from our regional councillor and MP in charge of Region 1, representing Region 1, that they said no counseling, absolutely nothing from human services.
All right, now today, since this ordeal, I ain't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I drink water, yeah, I drink beverages, right? What I came to a conclusion today, I said, let me go to Georgetown Hospital. I gotta find somebody to talk to. I gotta find somebody to figure what's happening with me out. I go to Georgetown Hospital. As soon as I asked the nurse, I said, Miss, I think something wrong with me. I ain't for that. We ain't for that here. I said, no, slow down, friend, slow down. Listen, I was on this steamer accident the other day, and I can't eat. Well, that don't got nothing to do with here. Go along somewhere else. Go along somewhere else. And I went to the outpatient. And the outpatient.
That's crazy.
The most they did was.
I would like him to give a recount of after
When he was rescued.
when he reached to the hospital, like from there.
All right. I want you to explain to me what happened when you were rescued at 5 a.m.
All right.
Where they carry you?
When they rescued us, they carried us to the Mouth Charity, if I'm correct, because they had a big Coast Guard patrol boat over there or something. Then they had a lot of boats from Charity out there. Well, what they did is once they see me with the cast, wearing the cast this and the cast that, they asked if anybody hurt, and the people who had any problems, they took us to the hospital. Now they told me, all right, we gonna keep y'all here for the night, whatever the case may be. Make sure you get cast over. You gonna y'all gonna stay here for the night for observation. Like an hour after that, I don't know time. I didn't know time because I don't have a phone. But all of a sudden, you see one set of commotion and these people running to the side, talking. Next thing you know is, oh no, we're not gonna keep y'all here for the night. And I'm like, wow, what happened to my cast? They was like, no, we're gonna take you to this next hospital and put the cast on real quick. And I found that weird. And ever since, from that point, they took us somewhere else and talked to us, well, this, that, fourth, we ain't gonna do this, we ain't gonna do that. But if y'all wanna go home, we gonna send y'all home. Who wanna go home, we gonna send y'all home.
That is crazy.
Me personally, I have no clothes, everything is wet. When I went to the hospital, if y'all see me in an interview I did, I ain't had no shirt on because they cut the shirt off. So it's like, I'm going to get home with no shirt now. Somebody had to go in their car and bring me a shirt. And it was crazy. So now they started saying who need to go home, who need to do this, who need to do that. So I said, I'm going home because where I'm even do staying in Charity.
So there was no evaluation, no? You didn't engage with any psychologist, but they didn't check you out as well outside of the redoing of the cast? Did they eventually redo the cast?
They did the cast, but the cast, when I came to town, I had to go from over. I was glad I got some money from them, though, because I had to use that same money and go straight back to the hospital, because the way they put this cast on, it's like pointed down, and the way it couldn't breathe. So even the people at the hospital say, go take that off, and he gonna put a new one on.
So how much money they gave you?
50,000.
What?
50,000.
50?
50. And that was to get home, to get where we had to get to, you understand me? But at the end of the day, I said, I'm glad I got life now. Yes, I got life. And this started yesterday. I'm like, yes, I got life. But where do I start from here? Where I go? What I do? So now today, like I said, I try to go to the hospital. They just chase me.
That again, it's like a series of unfortunate events in this story.
Yeah.
The thing is though, did they ask you where you're going to, or just if it's out of Region 1?
They just asked us if we're going to continue our trip to Region 1 or go back to town.
And you say you're going back to town.
Yeah, because what I'm going
And
to
so
do,
they give you $50,000 and what? How did you in terms of the flight and so on, was that paid for?
they gave us the free flight and everything.
So they gave you the free flight and $50,000.
Yeah. And then
Ah.
when we got
But
the
it should
when
never be released like that
when
because
we got the
he
oval
suffered from
now,
post-traumatic syndrome.
No, but nobody should have been released like that. It's not limited to this gentleman. This is a traumatic event. People, you know, and I mean, I don't necessarily want to speak negative, but there are very many people who in these situations leave and they off themselves because they're not in the right mental state. This is trauma. And you
like
know,
right now,
to even hear, I wasn't physically present in Madia when there was that fire. And just hearing those children scream in that video, I couldn't sleep for days on end. I couldn't focus. It's like my mental faculties were out of whack. And you do not do that to people. And to have a president who's there, at this point, I am willing to go as far as to say pretending to care. Because when you genuinely care about people, you actually put systems in place. You don't just have somebody go through an ordeal like that. This man would have witnessed children sliding on a boat, screaming. And we just, oh my God, have some mercy on us all.
Yeah, he and all the others should never have been
Did
let go.
anybody make contact
Never.
with you after you came back to Georgetown?
no.
So no contact.
No, that's why I started trying to reach out to people, call people, because it's like, you in a spot now. Well, mind you, I'm in this country by myself. I don't really have family here. So now it's like they take everything from me and they just drop me off and turn their back. What I'm supposed to do now? You understand me? What direction you supposed to take now? And you don't have those answers. You don't have those questions. I went to Guyana today. Because after I left the hospital and they chased me, all they gave me was one set of sleeping pills and vitamins. That's what they gave me at the hospital today. They ain't talk to me, they ain't tell me nothing. Just one set of pills they give me.
Multivitamin.
And all I'm trying to say is like, all right, so what it's going to do? I still got the problem. I can't sleep, I can't eat, so I'm supposed to take all these pills and I can't eat. And they just let me come out to the hospital, so now I'm walking and I don't want to trip out. So I'm like, I don't want this thing bother me mad. So I walked to Guyana so I could see, y'all don't got no counseling, and they ain't have no counseling for me. But I know it's like if you just give me somebody to talk to, I could talk my problems off, and alright, I kind of feel good at the end of that. But I don't got none of that. I don't got nothing. All I do is watch this Facebook and start crying. As soon as you see somebody, you start crying.
A series of care, not
And
a 1 day, not a 2 day, because what you've experienced, and even what the opposition leader of Mrs. Mohamed experienced, they're just bringing up all those dead bodies. It's very traumatic. This is you can't sleep even if you close your eyes.
I don't sleep these days. Like
I
I
know,
said, I
so we
wake
have
up 1
to.
o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I just walk the streets. And it's like, now I'm feeling like a junkie, but I'm like, I don't care how I look. I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep.
Yes, I understand.
It got to the point today, I went to get pills just so I could sleep.
And this is how the PPP government say they put in people first.
And it's like, nothing, no
I,
answers, no nothing.
A lot of survivors reached out to me. But just that I want to ensure that I can retrieve maximum amount of bodies so that we could bring some sort of relief,
Closure to
some
some.
closure to the families.
Yes.
So I have to meet with a lot of survivors. I met with you first in terms of,
Physically.
yes, physically. And it's so sad to see that this man lost everything. Everything cash, all the detector items worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The vessel wasn't even insured. This vessel wasn't even insured. You understand? So this is a cake shop operation this administration running. Cake shop.
Running the whole country like a cake shop.
Sorry, I'm just really trying to, I was hoping not to get here. But there is a psychologist that reached out to me tonight, and she did say that she's willing to offer her services for free. And before we leave here tonight, I will give you her number, so that you can make contact with her. And she is more than willing to help, and she's stationed here in Georgetown. So as it relates to ensuring, because I certainly would not be happy to have met you here tonight, to have listened to what you would have gone through, and to not ensure that there is a system. Even if I had to get off of this live right now to call somebody who could help you in any way, shape, or form, I would have. I would also be more than happy to share her information with any of the other survivors who were just left to get by, however, to feel, however, to struggle alone. And as much as people are putting up, and companies and everybody's putting up all these messages about and sharing their sympathies and so on, we can't just leave these people. It is not. This man is one of us. And you can't just treat another human being like that, whether you're Guyanese or not. If you were part of that ordeal, you were here for whatever reason, you were on the boat. We are all human beings at the end of the day. And this kind of carefree behavior, this kind of disrespect and disregard for human life is unacceptable. And it hurts me to the core, and I'm extremely sorry that you would have had to go through such an ordeal. Nobody should have to go through that. Nobody should have to feel as though they are left alone, as though there is no system that caters to you. And even as you reference the hospital, I would like to say that when it comes to these public spaces, whether it's the hospital, the police, or whatever, I understand that the people who are working in these facilities, they are humans too. They have their own problems. But you have to think about the fact that when people go to these places, you don't know the state that they are in as well. You don't know what they're going through. If this man comes in here and he says, hey, I went through this thing, I really need somebody to talk to, I'm a guy. You don't have to chase him. You don't have to disregard him. Despite however people may look, it's not you. You can't just put somebody out and say I'm not inclined to help you. The Humanian is there. They're encouraging people to come there to do what? To do what? If you can't get any help, you have no. Why are you calling people there? There's no psychologist there. There's nobody to evaluate. There's no nothing. You're wasting people time. It's like the system is set up to kill you if you didn't die in the system that you were supposed to die in. So you miss this ordeal, and there's nothing set up for you. There's nothing put in place for you. So let's come to this place. Come to this place here and get some help. Kwame is not a psychologist. What am I going there to listen to what Kwame could say to these people? How could he help them? You understand me? I understand that sometimes people just need somebody that might be able to give them a hug and a support or whatever. But you have to have an actual structure in place. Yes. I could be there. I could support anybody. But at the end of the day, you need to have real systems that can actually help people. You can't just leave people. It's not grass that can just grow however. You send people back homes. They're not even properly integrated. They haven't even been able to process effectively what has happened, and there is no care or concern. Oh, the president just sat down on that tent there and Edgel and the Edgel and the prime minister talking a load of madness on the internet there, and then you have Indar sit down there just like an ornament in the whole thing. There's no nothing. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, this is not about opposition party. If the government was handling this situation well, I personally would have been first in line to say, thank God these people have this system. Guyanese, they have something that they can depend on. Because it's negligence that got us here in the first place. Oh, goodness gracious me. We gonna get things and put them in place so that people don't have to continue to suffer? Good grief.
And if they don't get the help that they need, this situation can get worse for our survivors because they're going to suffer like this for a very long time.
Not only survivors.
Yeah.
Not only survivors. Not only
The families.
the families.
Yeah.
The
Correct.
the people that went out to rescue.
Looking.
Yes.
The recovery. The Coast Guard.
No, but systems should have been put in place.
The leader.
The systems should have been put in place. That's why you have India there dressing up and taking videos, jumping out of vehicles. This is a serious thing. We are talking about serious business when it comes to people's lives, when it comes to people's psychosocial, when it comes to people psychosocial support being offered to people. These are very, very serious things. There aren't any hubs set up. This country is mourning. There aren't any hubs set up. The president came out, oh, we're going to have 3 days of mourning. 3 days of mourning means what, Mr. President? Because cricket going on, everything going on, it's business as usual. You understand me? I don't see the black bands in terms of the police and the army that's supposed to be wearing these things. We do not see that. You know, everything, it's not just about flying the flag at the half mast and so on. It is a lot more than that. And we can't begin to, or say we're grieving or in a state of mourning and no systems are put in place to say that this is what this looks like. This is what's going to happen. You understand me? And even amidst all of this, amidst all this grief and all this hurt, you have people being arrested at the vigil. You have MPs being shut out. MP Svetnam was drenched in water when she went down there at the Umanayana. You have Sherrod was arrested. You have the leader while trying to help in the search and rescue. You got the police in the man place. You know, it's like they're trying to do things to add to the hurt and the pain that people are feeling. And that cannot, by any stretch of the imagination, be a government who cares. At the very least, we cannot continue with this business as usual. And in as much as people say, oh, you know, you shouldn't politicize the situation. Well, it depends on what you refer to as politicizing. Because in the nature of what has happened, it is political. You cannot run away from that because this is a vessel that is owned by the state. And so anything that happens aboard said vessel, the state is responsible for. So automatically that brings the government into play from jump. So it's not a matter about bringing them in. And the government, they are working for the people of Guyana. And we are the people of Guyana. And if we have questions, then those questions ought to be asked and they ought to be answered properly. Because we see these guys here, at the press conference, they're answering some of the questions, but the haste and the hostility. I look at Edgel barking down the other day, and I was wondering, who on earth does this guy think he's talking to? Your job is to serve the people. You're not above the people. You're not greater than the people. You might have more money than the people, but that does not make you special more than anybody else. It does not. Because at the end of the day, when you go down, whether it's 6 feet under or how much ever feet under, you're not taking that money with you, sir. You go in a box like everybody else. Your box might cost more money, but it don't make you any less dead.
Yes, true. They ain't going with nothing.
And so this cannot be the attitude that we allow to persist as a society. And my thing is, we have got to demand better. Because at this rate, we are dying, literally. Our people are dying because we are allowing the government to some extent. Because there's no way that this MV Barima, the best place for that thing would have been in the museum. And that is a fact. It is a historical piece of metal. Put it in the museum. And I'm very serious about that. A gentleman called me a couple of days ago, and he was saying that he was part of the crew when this very ship went to, I think it may have been the first Carifesta or something of the sort. Don't quote me on that. But he was part of the crew when this ship is what took the people from here to go to Carifesta in some other country. I can't remember what he said, if it was Grenada or wherever it was. Don't quote me on that either. But what I'm saying is that this is something that has been part of us. It has been part of our culture, and now, in a negative light, will become part of our history as well, because this, of course, is the biggest since Jim Jones
Yes.
tragic event that we have faced as a country. And my thing is, in Jim Jones' time, we did not have what we have today. We did not have the internet. We did not have access to as much information as we do. We did not have access to as much services as we do today. And so putting systems in place should have been the easiest thing the government is able to do. This is not rocket science. This is a modern day and age. Ensure that those people, if you're unable to have a physical person there all the time, could you set up a system where there's a particular hotline, not for calling in to give information, but like this gentleman, if he wakes up at a certain time at night, or if he can't sleep, or if he's, whatever thoughts is going through his head, he's able to call this number to say, this is what's going on, this is how I'm feeling, and to have somebody be there to talk with him, to talk him through what is happening. Those are simple systems. This is not rocket science. They could have gone into one of these phone companies and do whatever it is they have to do to set up these sorts of things. Even hubs in the community. Because just like this gentleman is walking around, in those communities, because obviously they would know where these people are from, they would know where they're living, because they were supposed to have collected that information. If they didn't collect that too, then that is another travesty.
But it looks like
but
they didn't collect it, because one time the survivors was 6 to 7, then it jumped to 7 to 7.
And they just asked me for my name, my birth, my date of birth, and that's it.
Name and date of birth.
Yeah, they ain't asked me for no address. They ain't asked me for where I'm going. They ain't asked me for no. Well, they knew, because we kept on saying, how y'all getting in touch with us? Everything washed up.
Exactly. How did following
So
up
how
again?
we getting in touch with y'all?
Oh.
Oh, don't worry, we gonna give you something. When? They never gave us nothing. Nothing. They never told me, well, all right, so go here and see what happening after these things. So with me personally, I was like, well, at least let's give them time to search for bodies and stuff.
No. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. I understand that you might be very modest in your thinking and in what you're saying, right? But this is not a cake shop. This is a massive operation. This is a government that has arms, and they can have one set of people search, because the search and rescue people are not psychologists, right? So you have the search and rescue people, then you have the people who are supposed to be helping, then you have the people who should be ensuring that people like you get the help that you need, then you have the medical people, and all of these people that come into play. So they don't interconnect. It's not the same set of people. You understand me? So we don't have to do one thing and then do another thing. We can do everything at the same time. Because while people are searching and rescuing, we have counselors working on the ground. We have the people who are going to ensure you get your money, who are going to you have the counselors, then you will have the people who, I guess, will try to see, what you would have lost, to see what the government can help to do, which ministries. That ministry then kicks into play in terms of who might be able to assist in any way, if they're able to give you any monies, or if they're able to give you the physical things, and those sorts of things. So it doesn't work in the sense where you say, oh, maybe when they're finished rescuing. No, sir, you're out here and you're struggling.
Yeah, and what it got me like today, I made sure I walked in, because I started asking the question, man, why ain't dead? Because it's like your girl on the side, your daughter need this, your daughter need that. I'm like, you ain't know, I just came home, I lost everything, and it's like, by the daughter needing, it's clouding her judgment. Now she cursing me, and I'm just like, so it made me walk out the house again, aimlessly walking, to the point I don't even want to walk home. Or she might say she need milk or something, and I know I don't got this money. You understand me? So I'm scared to go home even.
You mentioned something about MP Swetnam at the Guyana on Sunday. I was in the Pomeroon, in the ocean. What really happened to her? Can you explain what was the problem? None of my please. I want to know what was the problem, because I saw a video, but I didn't have the time to look through the entire video. So what really happened?
Yes, so myself, I went down there after we learned that the relatives and so can go to Humaniana looking for their families and so. So in my capacity as an MP, I went down there to reach with the people them, to see what sort of help that I can give. And then earlier, we had learned that another MP was there. I think it was MP Amanza. She was there around 6 o'clock. So I went there like around 8 o'clock. And when I got there, I went in normal, and then I saw the ministers, the PPP ministers. Them, you had Minister Onage, you had Minister Sonia Parag, Minister Kwame, and Minister Wane Jill. So I went over to them, and I extended my hand and said, "Good morning. I'm here in solidarity to be here for the people of Guyana." And I was, yes, I extended my hand to each one of them. At first, if my first hand extended to Minister Sonia, she snubbed me. And I left my hand out there and I said, "Minister, I'm here in support of the people." And I left my hand and she shook my hand and she walked away. And I went to face the minister.
This is the arrogance of Sonia Parag,
Yes.
No, but I got a comment to her next.
Yes.
Right? Don't feel that I know about her corruption.
Yeah,
The same Sonia Parag.
Yeah, so she's the first one I interface. Then I met with Minister Onage and I said, "Minister Onage, I'm here for the people." And she shook my hand. She said, "Okay, we're here. We're not releasing information as yet." I said, "That's okay. I'm here to see what support I can give to the people." At that time, Minister Kwame noticed me. And Minister Edger was not in the circle immediately. He was talking with someone. So then I interfaced with Minister Kwame. He was like, the first thing, "What are you doing here?"
Wow.
And I said, "I am here. I'm a member of parliament. I have an oath for the people. And I'm here to see what support I can offer. We don't need you here." I said, "Here is my hand. I'm here to support the people of this country. There are many people here. I want to go speak with them. I want to be there for them." He said, "Well, now you're here, leave." At that time, Minister Edgel came up. When he came up, well, he's taller than me, so my hand was at his chest. So, midway. So I was like, he looked at my hand. "We don't want misinformation out there." I left my hand dangling. I said, "I'm here. On behalf of the people, I'm here. My hand of solidarity is extended." I left my hand there for a few seconds, and then he had no choice but to shake it because I was not moving it. And he said, tell your people and your fellow people not to say anything out of sorts. I said, "I am here
Not to say
for
what?
anything out of sorts."
And the PPP have him for that. Because he has been sharing more misinformation. I don't know why Onage hasn't arrested that man.
No, but the people seen everything for themselves.
Yes.
The people, they're seeing everything for themselves.
Correct.
And they realize today that the PPP administration failed them. And they're deceitful and dishonest people.
Very. Very. And when I was speaking with Minister Edgil now, Kwame couldn't keep his mouth shut. Kwame kept being the mouthpiece for Minister Edgil. And I said, "I'm not speaking to you. Edgil is here. I'll let him answer for himself. Get from here. Get from here." I said, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm going over there." And I point to where the relatives were. I said, "I'm going over there and speak to the relatives. And, well, don't put any misinformation out there." I said, "I'm here for the people." And then Minister Onage was there. I said, when Kwame kept telling me to leave, I said, "I'm a member of parliament." And then Minister Onage turned to me and said, "You don't need to repeat who you are. We know who you are." And I left them and I went and I was talking with families. And at the same time, I was there for about 2 hours in the corner. But before I even reached to the 2-hour mark, I was in the corner where relatives were. Had a big space till over there. A young lady, I had my phone because I was making a call at the same time. A young lady walked up with a cup of ice water. The ice also in the cup. And she just dunked it on me. And then she said, "Oh my, I'm on my phone. I'm sorry." I was like, "Okay, but I'm still in the corner." But I believe that was such a deliberate act to elicit a certain response from me, to see how I would have reacted. And then when she walked off, the gentleman next to me said, I saw what she did. I said, I'm happy somebody saw. He said, she literally walked and dunked you with that water. I scolded. I said, look, my phone. He said, yes, let me help you. He opened my phone case. Water was in it. Like if they wanted to damage my phone, thinking I was probably recording or whoever I was talking to. And then they drenched me. I said, you know what? I'm not getting up from here. And the man said, I saw what they did to you. And this is a relative, here, waiting to hear about his lost loved one. And he witnessed what was done to me.
Imagine if this can be their behavior. Right?
Yes.
This time.
Kwame's behavior all the time. I don't think he has the ability to code switch to nothing. Because even in Parliament, he's very disrespectful, especially to us women. He has been to me. I am not the type of person who's going to sit down and let Kwame or anybody else disrespect me. It's not going to go very well. But it's apparently something he's been doing for years, because other MPs told me about people in the past and so on. And that this sort of blackguarded behavior coming out of a member of Parliament is such a disgrace. This guy is to the party, to the country, and it's also very unacceptable. You should not go around the place operating like a pig, let alone at this time, because as far as I'm concerned, he would be able to better serve this country on the president's farm, because this is not humanly behavior. It is not civilized behavior. It is not acceptable behavior. And at a time where families are grieving, at a time where people have so many questions, they're in panic, they don't know what to say, how to feel, how to anything, you just decide that to be hostile or to be aggressive or to be disrespectful is what is needed at the time, instead of saying, you know what, MP Vietnam, I'm happy that you're here, we got families over here, they're crying, this body panicking. What you should do, which is what I would have done. I would have said to you, what you should do is just try to keep people calm and so on. Yes. They have questions. We may not have answers at the time. Yes. Let them know when the answers become available. We will let them know and so on, because we need everybody. We don't have sufficient people
all
here. Let's go. All hands on deck. We don't have sufficient people here. Let's see what we can do, how best we can calm these people. If we can talk a little story, to kind of keep people calm or whatever the case is. But that sort of behavior, I mean, there's in no civilized part of this world, you would find a minister or any senior member of government acting in the way that this government acts. Kwame trumps all of them. All of them. No manners, no behavior, no respect. It's rather unfortunate that this is what we have to deal with.
And what happened also is that after the whole water scenario, I kept composed. I ignored that. I was dealing with the families. So as I continued to speak with them, and so there was one gentleman. I was drawn to him because he had this young baby. This baby is no more than a month old. And I went and I went like this to him because he didn't have an empty chair. And so I moved and I went over to him and I knelt before him. I said, the baby, what's going on with the baby? And he said, the baby daddy's on the boat. I said, where is the mother? He said, the mother is outside crying. She gonna come in shortly. She came in. When she came in, I was speaking with them, counseling them, offering some sort of hope, just, reaching out to them. A police officer came up to me in the midst of dealing with that family. And the officer said, ma'am, do you have an immediate relative here? I said, I'm with this family. I'm a member of Parliament. I'm here offering support. Ma'am, your presence here is disturbing people. Wow. Can you please step outside? I said, all right, just give me a second. I'm speaking with the family. I didn't want to, that wasn't the time and place for that to get me up there. Yes.
Who?
I said to, the police officer said to me, please step outside.
They call police on you?
Yes. Please step outside. I said, I'm here with the family. Just give me a 1 second, sir, because I didn't want a scene there. It wasn't the time and place for that. So I maintained composure. I talk. I said, excuse me, let me step out. I said, but stay strong. That was the last time that that family would have seen me. Because when the police took me outside, they asked a female rank to speak to me and told me to please go outside, that my presence is disturbing people and only family isn't allowed in there. I said, but I'm in the corner and I'm talking with families and I'm a member of parliament. We're just working on instructions. Ma'am, in there will be crowded. Please come out. I said, in there is not crowded. Then they also allowed other family members to stay outside. So some of them were in there alone without additional support. You know, sometimes you need your brother or your sister with you. Sometimes you don't want to go in there and hear these sorts of news alone. But they allowed the person's family members to stay outside. Then they began to lock the gate. Then MP Dawn came at the gate. When they saw MP Dawn Hastings at the gate, they locked the gate even tighter. Then new MPs came. And they prevented them from coming in. But at that moment, they escorted me out. So when they escorted me out, no other MP was allowed. So I stood outside. I waited for 2 hours in the sun, speaking to families as they enter. And as the families enter, I allowed them to go in the gate. I hugged them. I talked to them. And I said, are you okay? One of them said, my brother has a stroke. He can't swim. I want to find him. I go in there and tell them. But they have Mr. Mohamed, our leader. The most heartbreaking thing for me being at Imaniana, and I've shared this with all our MPs, is the one indigenous mom that came and met me at the gate, held on to my arms. She ain't asking for nobody. She said, I want the 2 babies. Where are my 2 babies? Where are my 2 babies? That was the breaking point for me. I can't mend back myself up to now.
Because you mentioned too that a lot of newborn.
Yes.
A lot of newborn, but we didn't see any. We didn't see any newborn.
And there was nobody to meet her.
It's
None.
difficult for a newborn baby for you to. I mean, it's probably a rough time to say it, but the roughness of the water and the and all that would have happened there, they would have received the physical damage to a newborn baby because they're soft. It would have been significant, and so I'm trying to think of, like, to not say dismember, but I'm not thinking of anything else. And then you would have referenced earlier about the crows being there. So more than likely they would have, it's difficult to recover a newborn baby in that kind of. Trying to think of how to say this that it doesn't sound as terrible a situation it is, but it is significantly difficult. This is not like going to Bartica, where you're in the Essequibo River and it's calm and so on. Those are very, very, very rough waters. So that if you look at the some of the bodies that were recovered in the state in which they were in terms of the damage that was done and so on, let alone a child who is a baby, not a child, a baby who is a newborn that is much, much gentler,
It was really hard. And that particular mother, she had nobody to meet her at the gate. And I held on to her hand and I took her in. When I took her in, they had 3 women just sitting at the desk. And this woman was in tears. And I said, could you please take her name, her information? She wants to see the baby. And now this happened because after enduring the sun, I still went back after they refused me. I went back at 2 o'clock. When I went back in there was a skeleton. In there hardly had any of these big officials and all of that. None of the PPP officials were there. Just 3 simple workers at the desk. And I handed over a crying mother. She probably allowed the babies them to go, or is the aunt. Like, she was in such a state. I said, can you take her name? They said, sure. I said, take her name. And that moment, I just left because I didn't want to suffer the same embarrassment. I didn't want officers to come and move me. So I went back out to the gate to meet more people who were coming in. And I could see tears coming to our leader's eyes because you could imagine what was happening to him, Odessa. What's happening to our leader?
Actually, what I was saying is that it regardless of how strong the leader is and the team that went out there with him, they're all human beings, as well as those people speak of the heroic fishermen that were out there as well. I've heard nothing of an intervention that is had as it relates to these gentlemen who are out there assisting. Their experience is also one that is traumatic. Having to recover all of these bodies, having to see them in that state, it is not easy. And as a mother, having heard even without seeing, and I saw this gentleman did an interview, and I did not listen to the interview. I did not listen to any of the interviews because I felt like mentally, I'm already in a bad place. Having having the information that I have, let alone having to hear the pain and the suffering. And I remember reading the worded caption on something where a woman lost 7 children, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a lot. Let alone having to hearing the loss of 7 children, let alone having to see the physical bodies of children, adults, pregnant women being brought in. That would have done taken a toll on me. And so even without having that first hand experience, I am affected to this point, as is very many Guyanese. Guyanese even outside of Guyana, listening to these stories, they are weeping bitterly on a daily basis. Some people unable to compose themselves, let alone this gentleman, let alone the leader, and of course the rest of the team that was out there in real time experiencing these things live. There's nothing put in place. I heard after, I guess, being forced to a great extent, the prime minister saying, "Oh yes, the opposition leader is out there assisting with the well, he is assisting with, but he's there out there as well." And he just drifting out there. But the thing is, I did not hear anything, because whether or not you like the opposition leader, Azadin Mohamed, he was there. He did he did witness and this ordeal. He should have been contacted, because all of these people got his number, and if they don't have it, they can't get it. Been contacted to say, "Here, what happened? When you come out for that water, you have to go at X place, because we have some degree of support that we'd like to offer. We have a psychologist there. We have something." It should have been said. Even if you don't want to call him directly, there's no messaging put out anywhere to say to the public, those people who have been part of the search and rescue and so on, this is the number you have to call, this is the place you have to go, there's none of that. So, this is a colossal failure on every part. And I know people might be looking at the live and saying, "Oh, y'all haven't spoken to the gentleman in a minute." Yes, but at the beginning we did agree, which we did not share, unfortunately, that we would listen, we'd have a conversation with this gentleman. We would listen to the ordeals that my dear MP here would have experienced, which again too is unfortunate. I would like to apologize on behalf of the government, because they do not have what it takes to apologize, and you should not have had to go through that. But we did say that we would listen to that ordeal. We would have some input from the leader as it relates to experiences that he would have had on board his boat for the last couple of days that he would have been out there. So
We were out there 5 days.
5 days. Well, when I say couple, I don't mean two. Thank you very much, Eugene.
And look at his eyes; they haven't slept. Sunburn.
Yes.
Look at
I somebody was saying, "Oh, that's the leaders out there, and how come you didn't go to him?" I said, "Excuse me, I know my emotional strength. I go to funerals of people I don't know and break down and cry bitterly for the people because the family's crying. So I would not have made it. We must know our strengths and where we could best serve. But if we can hear from the leader in terms of what that ordeal would have been like for you for the couple of days being out there."
Yes, tell us.
What you want to know?
I want to know what it
How
felt
you
like.
feeling?
Where like the first day, where did you guys sleep?
How you feel?
what was the thought process? Because you're there on the water as a result of
When they pull up the
an
baby.
accident, and so having that in mind and being in a boat, it takes you back to that place of, oh God, suppose now something happened to me out here, like that sort of thing. So I was wondering what was your thoughts like going out there in the first place? Like why did you decide? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Why did you decide
Right.
that what? I should go out there and help in the search and
All
rescue?
right. On Sunday morning,
Mm-hmm.
4 a.m., I saw messages coming in that a vessel is down. So I was, still going through different news sites to see which vessel. And then I saw it's the MV Barima. Well, I didn't know at that point how serious it was. Then they mentioned that the entire vessel went down and persons are missing. So right away I messaged one of my guys and told him, put things in place, let's be on standby. And then I saw the press conference with the waste ministers, Ed Jail and all of them. And I received a call from a senior member of the GDF. He told me it's a serious situation. And this government cannot handle the situation.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Right?
I'm serious.
He said that the 2 helicopters, the one that the president would use, MIA, that's the registration number of the helicopter, that the 2 helicopters are down, and that is serious because these helicopters they would use for search and rescue. Taxpayers, you, everyone, monies bought these helicopters. These helicopters didn't belong to the PPP. It belongs to the people of this country.
Yeah.
So he gave me the information and I put it out there. He also mentioned to repair the 2 newly bought helicopters. It's about $50 million just to repair the helicopters.
Wow.
So I know his information is credible. And then I saw Mr. Mark Phillips, Prime Minister, acknowledge that only 1 helicopter they sent out. So just imagine if 3 helicopters could have gone out there. Just imagine if all the GDF
People are
Coast
saying
Guard-
the audio is low. I don't
How
know.
the audio is it? The mic is working? If the Coast Guard boats, if all the boats could have head out there at the set time, we could have rescued so many persons.
I believe.
Because the spot where the MV Barima went down is just 50 minutes I took with my boats from Friendship on the East Bank to the spot. 50 minutes. And the GDF, they got their boats right at Pomeroon. Just 50 minutes. And the GDF got their boats at Pomeroon, at the river mouth, because they got a base there. From the base to the spot is just 20 minutes. I want people to understand, they must understand that this administration failed them.
That's rough.
This administration failed them. Listen to the minutes, because I did the time, and I can tell the people of this country. 50 minutes I took from Friendship on the East Bank. Friendship on the East Bank. Now they got some boats a little slower, but their bases are at different spots. They got a base at Pomeroon. They got a base right here in Georgetown. Georgetown is even closer than Friendship. I'm sure they won't take more than 40 minutes to go with all the 5-6 boats, the metal sharks, and go and rescue these guys and rescue so many persons. But they don't care. Because they can say, you know what? The vessel there, there's poor people, man.
They are fancy people as the
Yes,
president.
no fancy
would say.
people.
No
Exactly.
fancy people.
Yes. 7 hours after. Now they could have mobilized. A search and rescue is to be on standby 24 hours. 24 hours. You must have teams available to deploy. Now at 5 a.m., they went and rescued 60-something persons, 70-something persons. And 72 bodies we recovered from Monday to this afternoon. So just think about it. If we had the systems, the right systems, the structure, because we have the resources. But what we don't have is good leadership, good leaders, leaders that care for the people. Not leaders that only want to build wealth. They only want to build wealth. They don't care about no one. Absolutely, they don't care about no one. Look at the behavior of these ministers, how they are so arrogant. I wanted them to come out there with me. They should have come out there with me. Jill, Irfan, Jack Dio, right? Come out there with me like how I was out there for 5 days. 5 days we out there traversing that ocean, right? Well, that's okay. At the end of the day, God in charge, not man. They should have come out there with me. And let us see to recover as much bodies as possible. But as it relates to the search and recovery, it's hard to recover more bodies because the time is past. Time is past. And what my boats did, along with other persons I took and purchased gas for them, what we did is more than what the GDF did. More than what the Chief of Staff did. Imagine I called the Chief of Staff this afternoon. I called the PM this afternoon. I have messages in here. I called Mark Phillips because he was upset when I put out a video. Right? They had me waiting for 2 hours. They had me waiting for. We found 3 bodies. A baby, a 2-year-old baby. We found a teenager girl and a young man. So I had 3 of my boats waiting next to the body because the ocean is so wide and with the tide, the bodies can go all over. I posted it at 1:04 p.m. with the coordinates because I want the world to see. I want the world to see because the PPP love to talk about propaganda and misinformation. But I don't have time to lie or spread lies on anyone. I'm out there to recover bodies for the bereaved family members because every day family members would message me because that's the level of confidence and trust they have in me. So at 1:04 I posted, we found 3 bodies. Can the Coast Guard come to the coordinates, the 3 coordinates. So when they punch in the coordinates on their vessels and their speedboats, they know exactly where they gotta come.
Right.
And they have a couple boats within the vicinity that can reach there in 15-20 minutes. So after 2 hours pass, and then I'm seeing the baby, the 2-year-old girl, right? I decided to make a video. But before I made the video, I called 2 Coast Guard men. I called them. The phone keep ringing out. But I know what happened. I know what happened because I spent so much time with these Coast Guard guys. Sunday night, I slept with the at the Pomeroon base. You know, everybody's got a hammock and so I threw back the Sunday night with them. So we went gaffing and talking. They said, you know, how they're working for $130,000 a month, and they're really glad for an increase. You know, we talk a lot about what's going on within the GDF. So after I realized that they're not coming, maybe they're scared to come, because that's exactly what happened. Can you believe this? Can you believe we got bodies out there? I got boats, I got men. Myself is out there. This is a national problem. This is not a PPP or a WIN problem. This is a national problem. But at the end of the day, they caused the problem.
Yes.
Right? And I will keep on saying this. They must be held accountable.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
And they ain't got no backing down from this. They must be held accountable.
Agree.
So after I posted it, in 5 minutes, Prime Minister called me. 5 minutes, he called me after I posted it. Said, what happened? I said, you see what happened? Said, sir, I'm out here 2 hours. We would like for the Coast Guard to collect the bodies so that we can continue searching. Because when I go there, it's for a mission to recover bodies so that the family members can be at ease. So 2 hours waste there. We could have recovered more bodies. So 2 hours we had to wait there. And after Prime Minister called, he said, all right, they're going to come down. The Coast Guard came, they collect the bodies. Now this afternoon, today, we found 2 bodies. Only my vessels, you know. Last night was 70, the count was 70, and today we found 2 bodies. My boats. That speaks volume. We found 2, father and a son. So we're at the Pomeroon base, and the guys, the soldiers there, said, Mr. Mohamed, with all due respect, please come off the base. And on this base, they got all these boatmen that would come to collect gasoline. Because after I posted a video, I realized they got gasoline there to assist boatman from the Pomeroon River. Give you a 10-gallon gas, you go and search and help look for bodies too. I see them guys giving out gas. You know, I'm happy for this. I'm happy. So one of my boats now, after they found the little boy, they come in with the little boy. So they had to get some gas to go to Charity. Because I had to head back to Georgetown with my boats. Right? So I asked the guy there, the soldier, since you're giving out gasoline, this gasoline, you know, I was gaffing with it. This gasoline belongs to the PPP. It belongs, taxpayers' money purchased this gasoline. That we found the body, and we're low on gasoline. Because I'm using my own money with gasoline all the time. I don't want to collect anything from them too. So I'm using my own money. I have no problem with this. So, do you know, I messaged Mark Phillips. I messaged the Prime Minister that we need some gasoline. We got a young man in one of our boats. He said, contact some Shamsuddin. He in charge of the Coast Guard. I messaged the Shamsuddin. Look here, man. The nation must see how wicked these people are. How wicked they are. And then they just be upset with me when I talk the truth. But I will continue to speak the truth.
Speak the truth and speak it always.
Exactly, tell it as it is. Can't sugarcoat the truth.
Yeah. Look here, Mark Phillips. Look. Mark Phillips. His number is 624-4484. Any problems, you can contact him too. So, Mark Phillips, I message him. Good. So we starting from, I called him first at 2:09 p.m. And I told him that we need some gasoline for one of the boats.
Right.
Not my boat too. He sent me Commander Shamsuddin's phone number. Then I said, thanks, not getting him. They said he's out of the wreck, so signal might be an issue. not getting him. A boatman that working with us wanted some fuel because he also just found a child and carrying the child to charity. You see the time? Since 2:11, he sent me Shamshuddin's number. This is the guy in charge of the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
I messaged him, I called him, he never returned the call because he know already as I'm call that I call him.
And he in charge of the Coast Guard.
Right.
I said they're carrying the child to charity. So I called Mr. Phillips back at 3:03 p.m. He said, Colonel Roberts should have called you by now. I said, Chief, because I want to show him respect, the office he's holding. I said, Chief, I'm here 1 hour now. No one called.
Oh.
He said, okay. So then I messaged him this. Never received a call concerning the fuel for the charity boatman that works for me. Remember, this fuel doesn't belong to the PPP. Let us all be guided that our role is to look after the affairs of the people. I ensure I gave him fuel from me, and the body of the kid was delivered to charity.
And he responded?
No, he didn't respond.
But I believe after this, we were told to come off the vessel. All the time we've been on the vessel.
No, this was after. So you see, who are these guys? I called the chief of staff. I messaged him. Man failed to respond. I called the guy in charge of the Coast Guard, Mr. Mark Phillips. The Prime Minister gave me the number. Not responding. So how can we move ahead? How can we work for a better country when we have a national disaster tragedy? And these people, right, got the gasoline there. Now I asked them, just the man want a little gas to go into charity because we headed back to Georgetown. And other persons going to collect gasoline, you know. Other persons going there and collect gasoline. And they don't got a message and say, oh, this person come for gasoline. They're handing out the gasoline.
Right. No, it's just, they just want to put up a black wall. They don't want to give you anything, so they just put a wall. Oh, call this body and call the body. Then call the people and tell them, listen, this number can call you, don't answer. And that is exactly what they did. And that is unfortunate. And that again goes back to what I was saying earlier. Yeah. These guys don't care to make life easier for you.
The Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of... No, this thing getting me upset, you know. Because the two bodies that recovered today, right? I recovered. We worked hard. We went out there since 5 a.m. to ensure, because we know the day is counting down. Right? We drove hundreds of miles for the past 5 days looking for bodies. Now imagine a 5-10 gallon gasoline is a problem for these people. And the gasoline is there to assist all boat owners. Everything there. They have no compassion in them. No empathy. None. Because if you can see that a little child, we just collect a little child, the body of a child. So if this can't touch you, what else can touch you?
Nothing.
If this can't, you know, say, you know,
activate some humanity in you.
They gotta go.
You know, today, if I may, today I noticed somebody was saying, in your comment section, that they wish that they could go to bed and wake up and it's 2030. Yeah. That's the level of frustration that people are feeling. So let's just get over to the elections. Let's just, you know, we cannot continue to live with this level of failure. I do have a question for this gentleman though. It's been on my mind the entire time that I have been here though. What happened to your friend that was on the boat with you?
Well, I found out today they recovered his body.
Oh my. What was your friend's name?
Delan Gaskin.
Okay. Let me see his picture.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man. My condolences.
Yeah, we're hanging out together. And
Yeah, they were there the whole time because I'm listening to the story and he's talking about like me and my friend, and then
Another thing too, all the statements that the Prime Minister would give that about 15 or 19
this
vessels
young
out there
guy.
assisting,
Let
nothing
me
of that
show
sort.
this guy. I saw his picture on social media today.
Let me see the picture.
This.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw his picture a couple of times on my timeline today. No, I mean to turn it so it could be on the camera. That's rough, champ. Real rough. My condolences to you. And
There wasn't anyone there that you could recognize anyway. Unless you know somebody had on
A tattoo. Was the bodies?
it's so badly decomposed.
Yes.
They had people without heads.
Oh dear God! Listen, that's too much information. Whoa.
Can you imagine our leaders seeing that those are sacrifices?
Look like they just drowned. How they get broke up like that?
Because people might have been smashed and crushed, and when they start bloating, they push out and got out from wherever they were and stuff like that, you know. Coupled with the fact that you have birds eating people and all sorts of things too.
But I know when I seen them girls fell in the water with that baby, it's not like they fell in no calm water. Everything was stirring up and bubbling up and coming up profusively. So it's like you can't even say, damn, I could have snatched her. No,
Babies would have died right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, instantly.
And all them goods they had stirring up. That's why when I made it out, I just kept afloat because I knew something was going to come up out there. I know things with debris and stuff was going to start coming up out that boat.
Need to grab on.
Oh, the latest with the vessel, the Barima, they sent out tugs hoping to get the vessel in the upright position, and nothing didn't work. They didn't get through today. The divers that came in from French Guyana, the divers started to vomit. Yes, because when they went down, what they saw, the scent, even the scent, you know. When we went at
How were they able to smell under the
yes,
water?
I'm telling you, when we went at the site, the scent is coming up at the top of the water. One of my guys started to vomit immediately. He said, boss, I can't handle it. Got to go home. So one of the boats had to carry him home back. The same boat Terence Campbell was in, jumped in that boat and went back. Sometimes make it,
They could tell you the number of bodies that are down there. We didn't even find yet.
Yeah, but we don't even know the count.
Yeah, but it could be in such a decomposed state that it might be parts of bodies and so on. It may not be. It may not be complete.
Dr.
So
Andre couldn't deal with it either. When he saw the first baby we found, it shook him up. He was in a corner.
And these bodies by
I know myself, and I know that I mean, I don't even think.
He didn't go in there to see that. He didn't prepare to see what he saw.
No, but I mean, I guess the leader knows me well enough. He didn't even bother to call me because that was not. I could not.
Strong head to see all the bodies.
Yeah, but the thing is, regardless of how strong you are, you still need to get help. You should not continue because when it comes to people being affected psychologically, there's no timeline for when this would kick in for you. So for you, it might be immediate because you were part of the direct the situation, the direct tragedy. It may happen immediately for you. There are some people who could have been in that thing that the reality don't kick in till next couple of days down the line. And so there's no determination in terms of how long it takes to affect you, but it will, because you are human, regardless of how strong you think you are. And so that's why every single person should be evaluated and counseled and so on, having been any part of that situation, whether it's directly involved, whether you're supporting, whether you would have seen the bodies, and there should be something that is done that helps the general populace. Because all this negativity and people getting up every single day, first thing in the morning, you get up, it's bodies are found, this has happened, that has happened, and it's all negative things piling on and piling on and piling on. The very first morning of that tragedy, when I got up, I pick up my phone, I check WhatsApp to see, because my family calling all hours, and so I checked to see if any of them would have called, and the first thing I saw was a message from somebody saying that there was this accident, and they sent a whole set of pictures of the boat and all sorts of things. And so, and this is the actual boat, not the accident. And so I got a call immediately from a family of persons who were on board the boat. And so people are screaming and crying, and I have not even brushed my teeth, processed my thoughts, had nothing going on for me. And that kind of left me in a state that took me a while to come back to being myself and be able to compose myself, let alone what you guys would have seen, the ordeal that you would have been through. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. And as much as we say it and as much as we know it, we don't feel it because we haven't been through it. And so that is why we have specialists who are supposed to be there to take us through this. I know that we've been here for in excess of 2 hours since we've been live, 2 hours and change. That's a lot of time. And so I'm guessing people are tired, but I'd want to know, in wrapping up this evening, I would like to start with you in terms of, I will ensure that I give you the number before you leave here for the psychologist who's willing to help free of charge. So there's no cost attached. In terms of any other form of support that you feel you may need when you would have gone through that, whether it's with your family, whatever the case is, there are people, and I'm saying this to you, who are willing to help in a number of areas. People who've reached out to me and said, hey, how can I help? What can I do? And so I don't want you to feel as though you're alone. I understand that at the beginning of this situation, you felt like it's you, one, and God, as we say here in Guyana. And it don't have to be that way. I'm sure as a father, you don't want to disappoint your child, as you would have mentioned it before. And I know that's a tough call. When your children have needs, especially, and you're unable to meet it, then it's not that you're not trying. You're trying, but every time you try, something happens. And I can hear that in what you are saying, even though you haven't verbalized it in that way. And I understand that you're a trying man. And you have had trials. Great.
Lucky man.
But you're also blessed. And so even though sometimes situations don't allow us to remember that we are blessed, because you have people who had both limbs in working, and it's good. You go on the boat with plaster Paris all over the place, and you are able to come out of that, and that speaks volumes. And you're not here by accident. You're here because you are supposed to be here, and you have purpose. It means that your purpose here has not been fulfilled as yet. And so this may be a terrible story, but I'm sure that in a couple of years down the line, you're going to be able to look back and say, I went through this, and this is who I am today, and this is what this has made me. And I am very happy for you. I'm very proud of you. And I would like to ensure that you get the help that you need going forward. This is not the end of your story. This may be a bad patch, a rough road, probably one of the roads that you built. But this is not the end of your journey. And I know sometimes when we're in a situation and it's really bad, we don't see past the situation at all. We wallow in the hurt, in the upset, in the disappointment. But there is more to this road, and I am willing to help. So, so that your daughter is able to have a better father, whoever else is in your life is able to have a better partner, and you, more importantly, are able to be a better person for you, you know. So we will definitely ensure that that is had going forward. So if there's anything that you would like to say before we leave, because I clearly have said a mouthful. Yeah, the mic, huh? Sorry.
It's not a lot to say. It's like me personally, I didn't lose nobody. I just lost my little business and I lost, right? But I'm grateful of life.
Grateful of life.
Yes.
But one thing it's like trying to figure out is, if I see they did this to me, where they pushed me out for playing and give me nothing really, how would them families feel like that lost them 7 kids and them 6 kids? So it's like, that's what I study about, really. Because if y'all do nothing for me, y'all did anything to help bury them kids, y'all did anything. And I know the hurt, so I know they got to be going through some pain. So
You know, speaking about that, right? When I was at Morocco, at the head of the Morocco River, I saw a boat heading into Morocco with 4 bodies. So my guy took the picture. I asked him, why you taking the picture? Well, I already know why he took the picture. He said, this is embarrassing. This is disgusting, humiliating to see that our brothers and sisters already lost their lives senselessly because of the negligence of this administration. We have so many planes, state-owned again. Why is it that they can't fly into Port Kaituma and drop these bodies off? Now these bodies got to travel for 6 hours.
And then you got boatman dodging it because boatman don't
And it's
want to
already
deal on us.
decomposed. So by the time
yeah.
you get there, it's in a
Yeah.
terrible state.
We hand it over to the family.
Look the picture
Lord,
here.
have some mercy.
Look.
Makeshift plywood boxes.
Makeshift plywood boxes.
In the oil producing
Is,
republic.
is this putting people first?
The fastest growing economy.
That's rough though.
It's
That's
sickening.
rough because
Sickening.
even at some of them places there, it's rough. But I mean, this in itself, in terms of the discussion that we would have had here tonight, that's a lot of unpacking. It's a lot. I can imagine
It's
what's
a lot.
going on
Yeah.
with people.
So we can't discuss all.
But
Yes,
of course, we
so
are
much.
going to have a series of updates, and we are going to keep you guys posted on what is happening. In the interest of time, we can have a one-liner from our MP and a one-liner from our leader before we go.
Yes, we are not letting this go. We are not letting this go. We will continue to speak for the people. We will continue to hold this PPP administration accountable, and we will continue to call for Minister Edgel to step down. We are not going to back down from that. We are
That's several lines,
continue-
MP.
Yes, we are continuing to do that for the people.
All right, in closing off, once again, our deepest sympathies and condolences to the family. Rest assured, you're not alone. I will stand with you to the end. The survivors, I want you guys to ensure you reach out to all the survivors. I want to talk with the survivors. I want to hear from them what's going on in terms of the government, with counseling, with support, like this man, for example. Let us give him a 50,000 Guyana dollars, equivalent to 240 US dollars. Carry on with your life. So I want to talk to the survivors. I want you to get a post out as soon as possible so we can see from family members if they lost anyone, if they can't find anyone that went on the vessel, because we need a count to know how many persons missing. Right? So the survivors, we want to talk to the survivors, and we need to know how many persons missing. because 72 bodies already recover. We got 77 they're claiming survivors. So we got to talk to the 77 survivors. We already know about the 72, and we want to know how much more out there. Only the family members can say, hey,
I have
Tom
3
Jones,
people, I have 5 people.
Tom Jones
yeah.
out there for me,
Right.
XYZ out there for me. So we need a list so we can see exactly how many persons on board the vessel.
Mm-hmm. Well, I must say thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's live. Of course, the leader has been updating the general public in terms of what has been happening on the search and rescue exercise. Again, I would like to say thanks for tuning in. I'd like to say thanks to MP Swetnam for being here, for sharing her ordeal that she would have gone through, for lending support at this time. And to Nicholas, did I get your name right? Look at that. I remember that. Thank you. So to Nicholas, I would like to say, we can do a thing. As Guyanese said, we can do a thing. Again, thanks to everybody for tuning in. And we will be having frequent updates. Do have a blessed rest of the evening. And take care. Ciao.